Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Me, I'm doing good. I hope everything is going well. I am a little bit under the weather. Well, not really under the weather, but I'm in pain. So I'm a little bit not feeling good. My shoulder hurts, so it hasn't exactly been the best of the best. And as you guys know, um, it has been a struggle for me as far as my computer is concerned because my Mac computer is not working for some reason. It cuts on, but it's having a little bit of issues. So it's not exactly working the way it's supposed to be. And I am so sorry. Y'all cannot see me because I really do want you to see me. But it's crazy. But we're going to get through this today. So I hope everything is going well. I am your host, Goddess Asha Mariama. I appreciate you guys for joining me. A little bit about me. I am a certified recovery, healing, and recovery coach. It's all about helping people on their paths and their journeys to a new and better you. And this podcast is not only going on the YouTube channel, being led to the slaughter, but it's also going on my podcast, Finding Your Inner Peace and Tranquility. And I specialize in healing and recovery when it comes to not only addiction but family relationships, far as friendship, romantic relationships, people that you encounter every day, spiritual, mental, psychological, emotional, also financial. So I deal with multiple different facets of relationships. Give me one second, and I'm going to hopefully be able to add TikTok. So hold on. Give me one second, y'all. Hey everybody on TikTok. How y'all doing? Doing good. Normally y'all do not see my face. Normally. But I decided to show my face and show y'all. So welcome to my platform. I am currently on YouTube and I am currently on my Facebook and my other channels promoting and doing my podcast for today. And today we're going to be talking about how healing and recovery will lead you back to God, or for most of you, it could be Allah, it could be whatever the higher power name based on your spirituality and based on your religion that you want to call it. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is because I do a podcast every Sunday, which I didn't get a chance to do because I've been packing, getting ready for a trip to go to Margaritaville, the sea. So I have been pretty much packing. But normally I do not show myself. But today I decided to show myself because I decided I wanted to. But the reason I wanted to do this particular episode is because of something that happened today. And I just want to share it today. Today, I had woke up and I was getting ready to take out the trash. And I was getting ready to take some stuff downstairs to go and walk downstairs. And I felt this like really, really, really sharp pain. And when I tell you it knocked me down, it literally knocked me down to the point I didn't feel like doing nothing. And people don't understand how pain can make you feel like you are completely and utterly knocked down to the point where you are completely helpless, to the point where it's like that song by Bruno Mars, Today I don't feel like doing anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. And it was a really terrible feeling. And matter of fact, I'm still feeling it in this area. Still feeling it. But it's better than what it was. But what that taught me was, even though the mind wants to move, even though the mind wants to go forward, even though the mind wants to keep going, and your mind just wants to overcome it, your body's like, no, something is very wrong here. So to have that kind of pain going through this area is like the worst feeling in the whole entire world that I wouldn't wish on nobody. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because pain is not something to play with. Pain is not something that you can act like it didn't happen, because it did. And pain is not something that you need to brush it off and act like it's nothing. But I'm not surprised I'm going through this, because I'm being tested. I'm being tested by an entity that wants to keep me in a certain position, that wants to keep me down and wants to keep me broken and wants to keep me in a place where I'm miserable and I'm stuck. Because in no other way the devil's been able to hit me and really been able to knock me down except physically. So the one thing about the devil is there's three ways the devil's going to try to hit you. And that is mentally, that is psychologically, there's emotional, there's spiritual, there's internal and external physically, there's financial, and there is your relationships. And you can also add bullying and being by force, or you willingly doing what the devil wants you to do. Well, I'm not somebody that believes in doing negativity. I'm not somebody that believes in doing wrong in a way where it's intentional. So the only way the devil can hit me is physically. And that can be through an illness, it could be through a disease, it could be through pain, it could be suffering. But I can tell you now, going through pain physically is like terrible, because you have to live with it every day. And there are a lot of people that have chronic pain every day that they're living with every day. There are some people out here homeless, they ain't got nowhere to stay, and trying to find their way out has not been easy. So every person goes through something that is similar to the story of Job, that will get you to a place where you feel like you can't get out. Now, we all know the story of Job, and we all know Job was a person that no matter what, his faith in God wasn't going to waver. No matter what, God had, he had it good. Job had it good. And Job would never go against God in any way, shape, or fashion. Well, we all know that Job was tested to see if he was ever going to turn from God. We all know that he went through an illness, he went through diseases, he went through losing his family, he went through losing everything. And there was people that was coming and saying, you sure you want to, believe in God still? You still want to continue believing in an entity that you can't see? An entity that's still letting you go through all this craziness? But Job was like, no matter what, his faith in God did not waver. No matter how sick he got, no matter how he lost his whole entire family, no matter what, his faith in God didn't waver. He still prayed. He still did everything that he was supposed to do. And one day he came to God and said, Lord, I come to you stripped down naked like I did when I came into this earth of nothing. I'm coming to you and saying to you that I have had enough of going through all this worldly stuff. I've had enough of dealing with all this trauma, being sick. I've had enough. I am coming to you as if I am a newborn baby, coming to you and saying that I'm here. I'm ready for the Holy Spirit to take over. I'm ready to give you everything. Now, a lot of people don't know that's how your healing begins. Your healing don't begin by just putting some ointment on it and that's it, especially when it comes down to mental and psychological. It comes down to you coming to the higher power and say, look, I am on my knees. I've been of this world. I've been through all this pain, been through all this devastation. I've had enough, and I'm ready to give myself completely. I'm ready for the Holy Spirit to take over. I'm ready for you to lead my life, guide my life, and tell me which direction I need to go. How I know this? Because that's what I did. I gave my life to God completely without question. Now, mind you, this isn't about what religion that you are or what spirituality that you are, because everybody is welcome here. What it's about is you saying, I have made a decision after being in the world for as long as you've been in the world, and you say to yourself, I'm tired of pain. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of trying to be a part of society that I don't need to be in anymore. I'm tired of being chosen but not being accepted but not chosen. I'm tired of going into a world where I'm giving people my all and I'm being destroyed. That I'm going about being a godly person in the wrong way. Help me to figure out how I can be a godly person and do what's right and not go down the rabbit hole. Somebody flagging. Somebody's flagging. So let me say this. Whoever is flagging this particular channel up here on TikTok. I don't know why somebody would flag something about God. I'm a little confused. But see, this is what I mean. Stuff like this happen. See, that's the thing about being a godly person. You have stuff like this that happen. When you're a godly person, you have entities that don't want you to speak on what you're saying. But what I will say is this here. I'm going to continue going because God told me to say this message. The first part of your healing isn't what you think it is. It's about you making a choice of whether you're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing. It's of whether or not you want to still continue doing the same things you used to do or you're going to change for the better. It's either you're going to realize that all this stuff you've done is for naught and it was never the right way of doing it in the first place. As a godly person, you're never supposed to be chasing anything that is of the world. You're not even supposed to be of the world at all. If you are a godly person, you are not supposed to be with people who are non-believers that are going to lead you astray and lead you down a rabbit hole. You're not supposed to be like that. And for the longest, that's what I was doing. I'm actually a godly person. I don't believe in negativity. I don't believe negativity solves anything. I don't believe in tit for tat. I don't believe in none of that. But there were times where I felt like my back was against the wall and I had to come back swinging. So I'm not going to lie. I made some mistakes. But when people try to bring those mistakes back up and they try to use it against me as a weapon, that's when I started looking at it differently. And that's when I started saying to myself, okay. I went after a sex cult, for those of y'all don't know. Went after a sex cult on social media, on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. My world was turned upside down. My world that I knew it was completely dismantled. Now, mind you, before that happened, I was sick from 2009 to 2017. But 2017 completely changed my life because I got sick and a doctor gave me the wrong medication, which has forever changed my life to this day, that medication. Now, 2018, I met somebody, introduced me to a situation of somebody running a sex cult, somebody that was abusing women, that was putting women out there, basically switcheroo, as I like to call it. This man was manipulating people on social media. This man made about $50,000 a month off donations, as he liked to call it. This man claimed he was living in nature and wasn't living in nature to save his life. And yet, I walked into it because one of my exes decided he wanted to show me a video. From the moment I looked at it, I knew it was a lie. I knew this man was conning people. And then after that, it went from that to actually one day waking up and seeing one girl pregnant and him having 4 wives. And from that day forward, I said to myself this that somebody need to bring awareness to this. I decided to put on my podcast because back then I had just started doing podcasting in 2016. Decided to do it on my podcast first, and then decided to go on social media, which is what I did. Went on social media talking about it. The next thing that I knew was I started getting people coming on my platform. At first, everything was fine, but then what I also didn't realize is there was other people that was actually claiming they were about trying to stop the situation that really were not. So it went from that to all of a sudden my address being posted, my phone number being posted, people going after my child, people going after my baby daddy, going after my family, got me fired from my job, tried to get me evicted, and tried to make me lose everything. Why? Because I would not do what these people wanted me to do. Why? Because I would not sit up here and get involved in some YouTube beef. So let me break down how some of this stuff works. You become a content creator. You go on your channel, you do your stuff, and at first everything seemed cool. All of a sudden, these people start coming on your platform. And this is when you do lives, mind you, not just regular videos, but you doing lives. So you go on live, you do your content, and next thing you know, you got people wanting you to make them moderators. You make the moderators, and then every time somebody come in that they don't like, they decide to block them. Now, mind you, on YouTube, you can't block nobody, but you can make it so they cannot talk on your platform. You can block them where they cannot talk on your platform, but you cannot stop them from coming on your platform. You just can't. Back then, you could make multiple amount of different channels, and they were able to make multiple channels. Well, it went from that to a whole bunch of lies about me pulling my son's father on social media, trying to get my family, trying to tell me I was crazy, when that wasn't even the case. Trying to make all the parents hate me, trying to make it seem like I was lying, which I was not. Well, he's in prison right now, ain't he? He's in prison. And nobody still don't know how he got there. I do. Because somebody asked me for some information and I gave it to him. That's why he's in prison. It isn't because one of the girls said he SA'd her. That wasn't the only reason he's sitting up in there. He's sitting up in there because, he need to be in there. At the end of the day, for me, it's not about taking credit, because that's not what I really want to do, is take credit for anything. Because I didn't do it for that purpose. I did it because what he was doing was morally wrong. This man was saying he was the Messiah. This man was committing blasphemy. And what's funny, and what I learned from this situation, from that sex code, I learned that when you are a godly person, you are crucified. Purity crucified. Way worse than a negative person. Even if the stuff that was said about me, I'm just sitting there like, you can't be serious right now. None of it was real. None of it was true. But just the fact that people believed it, I just found it really hilarious that people believe what these people were saying. And I lost a lot of people because of it. And what's hilarious about it even more so was I was right about everything. So what I would say to people is, you being a godly person ain't easy. You being a godly person, you're going to go through some of the worst situations. And you're going to ask yourself, how did I get here? What did I do to deserve all of this? I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do, and yet I'm going through pain and suffering like I never been through before, and I can't understand how I got here. I'm sitting up here wondering why no man don't want me, why no female don't want to date me. What is it about me that these people don't like me? But then I realized as I started, left the situation finally, and while I was going through it, I was going to write a book. but then I wasn't ready because I was so damaged by that situation. I wasn't ready. And then then coaching came into play, which is what I do now. And that's because I saw it on social media and decided I want to be a coach to help people, but I didn't know what type of coach I wanted to be. Then they found out who I was working with as far as the coaching thing, and I had to walk away from that situation because of it, because I didn't want this person to lose everything because of me. But you'll always sit there and think that negative people, when it comes to certain things, they'll say all these things about you, but they'll still be watching you, still checking for you, still trying to see what you got going on, even to this day. Even to this day, I have people that still find me. How they find me, I don't know. But it's funny that so many people have so many things to say about you, but yet they still follow you. And yet they still want to know what you're doing. They still want to know what you got going on, but yet you hate me. You hate me, but I'm still in your brain for some reason, but you're not in mine. So I say all of that to say this. From my own story, led me back to God. My own story led me to one of the greatest crucifixions of my life, but I'm still standing. I just kept thinking about Jesus and the fact that Jesus was crucified, and thought about and only imagine what Jesus went through during his crucifixion. And all I could do was try my best to let Jesus lead me in that crucifixion. It didn't matter if I had receipts showing any people lying. It didn't matter whether or not I cussed them out. No matter what, it didn't matter. Because people were going to believe what they want to believe anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered what I said or what I would have done. Because it wouldn't have. So why I say how healing and recovery will lead you back to God, because that's exactly where it's going to lead you to. But you can't heal and recover until you say, spiritually, I'm done with negativity. I'm done. I relinquish negativity and I send it back from which it came, because I now understand no matter what I do, negativity will never end well. Until you say, I rebuke negativity and I send it back from which it came. Until you say, as I walk to the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because no matter what any negative person says, word of mouth will not condemn me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Because it won't. No matter what somebody try to do negative, I will rise like a phoenix and get through it. I've hit rock bottom and I ain't going back down there no more. So it's one of the things, like, you go back to Alice in Wonderland, right? You go back to Alice in Wonderland and you say, I walked down the rabbit hole. And when I went down that rabbit hole, everything I went down there in Wonderland, when you cut back up, you saying, I don't never want to go through no more. I don't. So now when you go to God or whatever your spirituality or whatever your religion is, and you say, I've had enough, I don't want to be of the world no more, meaning that I don't care about society standards. I don't care about any of that, because it's a walking contradiction, and it is. It's a walking contradiction. That's why I don't pay a lot of people no attention when it comes to some of these people that claim to be Christians. I pay them no attention because it's a walking contradiction. Because how can you be a Christian and you're doing everything that the Israelites did when it came to Moses? When it came, the Egyptians. How you gonna say you are of God when God is not of what you're trying to do? Now, mind you, we all know what happened with Noah's Ark. We all know what happened with Moses and the Egyptians, and we all know about Sodom and Gomorrah. We all know. But in the end, like I said, the fact that people think that because you have a title, that makes you better than. No, it don't. It don't make you better because you have a title. Anybody can say they're a Christian, doesn't mean your behavior represents that. Anybody can have a name. It doesn't mean that you're representing your name based on what it means. It's just like if somebody says I'm black. Well, guess what? Is that all that you are? If somebody says that I'm whatever, that's all you are. So again, I'm a godly person. That's my identity. My identity is not my name. My identity is not whether I'm male or female. My identity is not any of that. My identity is I'm a godly person. And that's just it. So when it comes to healing and recovery, don't get me wrong, you still gonna be tested. Don't get me wrong, you still gonna be in pain because that's how it works. But you got to say to yourself, I rebuke negativity and send it back from which it came, for it doesn't belong here, for I am a child of God. And yes, I'm going through this pain, and yes, I'm going through this suffering, and yes, I'm going through this, but my faith in God does not waver because of it. No matter if society never accepts me, no matter if I'm never chosen, my faith in God does not waver because society does not want to give me certain things. No, absolutely not. So when it comes to healing and recovery, it is about spiritual first. Because that's the first thing that needs to heal is spiritual. You got to let go of all the soul ties. You got to let go of all of the captain save a hoes, build a bears, build a dolls, sea fillers, and peoples. You got to get rid of all of the things that are keeping you from your greatness. You got to work hard to say, you know what? I'm not going to let what I'm going through break me or make me go against God. Because Job, that's what Job went through. Job went through that. Job was tested. And we all know all the different ways that Job was tested. Job was sick. Job lost his family. Job lost everything. And Job, even though people said you need to give up on God, maybe you need to give up. God, he was like, no, God got me. This is my trial, my tribulation. God got me. And no matter what, he stuck with it. And then he came to God after he went through that journey and said, God, I get it now. I understand now. God, I completely understand why you did what you did. And I'm not even upset about it. But guess what? That trial and tribulation that Job went through, even though he lost everything, went through illnesses, went through everything, he said, God got me. But God is trying to see how much I can take before he comes to me. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. God came and he got Job and showed Job the world, showed Job how to not only heal from everything, but maintain it, maintain all his healing, maintain, learn, grow, and evolve. So when Job got, everybody always say Job got everything back. No, he didn't. Job didn't get anything back, because if that was the case, he would have gotten back his wife, he would have got back his kids, he would have gotten everything, but that ain't what he got. He got everything back new. So it wasn't about Job going back. It wasn't about Job going backwards. It wasn't about Job reclaiming, none of that. It was about Job having everything. But now that Job got everything, now it's about maintaining everything that you lost. You got you get now that is new, but that's also your health and wellness. That's also your mental, your psychological, your all of that. It is not just about Okay, I got over the flu. I got over pneumonia. How are you going to maintain that? How are you going to maintain your marriage? So if God give you things, how are you going to maintain what God gave you? How are you going to not make the same mistakes over and over and over and over, over and over and over and over? How are you going to stop? How are you going to be able to say, I got in this mess, I took the consequences of it, and the repercussions of it, and the karma of it, and I ain't going to do it no more? But see, the problem is a lot of people will say they're not going to do this again, they're not going to do that again, and they go right back to it. And you know what God going to do to you? Okay, then I'm going to step away from it. If you keep going back to that situation that you just told me to help you get out of, then guess what? I'm going to let you go back. But this time I'm not going to be there for you. I'm going to let you deal with it. But it's just like saying, well, little pig, let me in, not by the hair of my chin, chin, chin. Little pig, let me in, not by the hair of my chin, chin, chin. I'm a Hufflepuff, blow your house down. So the other two pigs did not listen when that third pig told them, you better make sure you got somewhere that's going to keep you safe. And they had to run to the third little piggy to be safe. And what happened when they got there? The third little piggy was like, I've been expecting y'all. I knew y'all were coming. The second and third little piggy brought the wolf to the third little piggy. But guess what? Third little piggy was prepared. Third little piggy had a house of bricks. Third little piggy had a house of titanium. Third little piggy was ready for that wolf. He was ready for that wolf. So when that wolf came knocking at the door, little pig, let me in. Nope, not by the hair of my chin, chin, chin. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chin, chin, chin. I'm a huff and puff. Go ahead and huff and puff because you ain't getting in here. And that wolf huffed and puffed, conned, did everything under the sun, manipulation, lied, whatever he could do to get them piggies to let him in that house. Did he get in that house? No. And then the one time he got in there, guess what happened? It was a hot thing of water on that stove. And what happened to that wolf? That wolf got burnt and shut up and was never seen again. Well, guess what? That's you. That is you, little pig. Because you can't keep letting negativity destroy your life. You can't keep letting negativity come in. Because even with Sinners, the movie Sinners, y'all don't understand the whole entire dynamic of that. That is about the fact that you can't let negativity in. Because if you let it in, ain't no telling what damage it's going to do. If you allow negativity to come into your world and bamboozle, lead you astray, lie, or do whatever, guess what? That's exactly what it's going to do. It is going to destroy you. When you sit up here and take on somebody else's stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you personally, you're going to end up with them consequences. You're going to end up with them repercussions. You're going to end up with them karma. Why? Because of soul ties, took on something that was not your problem. You paying somebody else's bills. But guess what? When you need that money, are they going to reciprocate that? No. Now, don't get me wrong. God is all for us helping people. But God never said to be a fool either. God never said to be a dummy either. God never said to be stupid either. You can love somebody and not be stupid and dumb. But if somebody tell you they don't want you there, then don't go there. If somebody tell you they don't want you to be a part of something, then you ain't supposed to be a part of it. Some things are not your fight. Some things are not your problem. So when you come back in the world and you become these new versions of yourself, and you become these people after you healed and recovered, if you go back to what caused that mess in the first place, take everything that come with it. The whole point of healing and recovery is to never go back to what was. Those coulda, shoulda, woulda that you didn't do, that you should have done and would have done, you gonna now do. Now, if somebody tell you no, you know what? It's okay. It's fine. You ain't gotta accept me. It is completely okay. So what I want people to understand is I get it. But just because you're not accepted or chosen doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Just because you don't fit society standards does not mean you're not worthy or deserving. It just means that it might be time for you to do something else, to become something else, to do something else, and that might be what you meant to do. But for you to sit up here and say, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I don't have the right to be happy, nobody wants me, nobody wants to be my friend, I lost my job. Stop thinking that it's your loss, especially if you've done all you could. It's their loss, not yours. And yes, it is scary to lose a job, especially if you got kids, especially when you got somebody you got to take care of. But here's the thing, if it was just you, would you be as panicking as you would if you had kids? And that's the whole thing. They want you to panic. They want you to be in fear. I lost my job on the 9th. And you know what I said? It was a pleasure, it was a pleasure working with y'all. I'm glad I was able to give, blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what I said. And I can sit here all day and be upset. But for what? Why am I going to be upset when it wasn't meant for me to be there? If it wasn't meant for me to be there, then I shouldn't be there in the first place. That marriage, if I didn't do nothing wrong, if I didn't cheat, if I did everything I was supposed to in that marriage, I'm not blaming myself for that. The only thing that I'm going to blame myself for is that I wasted time with someone that was never worth me, and I should have seen the signs that this person never wanted me in the first place. But that does not mean that I think I'm a bad person, because I don't. Not at all. Not at all do I think that. So at the end of the day, I can sit here all day and blame myself for so many things, but when I look back at it, I did nothing wrong. So why am I blaming myself for me doing the right thing just for the wrong person? I did the right things for the wrong people that didn't deserve me, that didn't deserve anything that I had to offer, and were not worth me in the first place. That's what I did. So I'm no longer feeling bad because I love this person and I gave this person my all. That's what I'm supposed to do. But if it wasn't reciprocated, I should have walked away when it wasn't reciprocated. But I thought this person could change. I thought this person would be better. And they weren't. So what I want people to understand is it's okay to fall. But how much falling do you want to do before you end up saying enough is enough? I got to turn the light on. How long is it going to be before you get tired of getting your feelings hurt? How long is it going to be before you get tired of people not, wanting people to love you that are just never going to love you? How many times do you have to go chasing behind people that ain't even worth chasing? How long? At the end of the day, some people, yes, will be married, but that don't mean they're happy. Some people got kids and their kids are raised great. At least that's what you think. Stop comparing your life to other people. Stop trying to follow the crowd and walk in the beat of your own drum. Go in a direction that's the opposite. Because here's the thing, God is waiting on you. God is waiting on you to be better. God is waiting on you to be the best version of yourself. God is waiting on you to say, are you ready to come to me finally? Are you ready to let go of these people that ain't worth you? Are you willing to acknowledge the pain and the hurt that you went through? Are you ready to give it to me? Are you ready to let me lead your life? Are you ready for me to let the Holy Spirit take over? Are you ready for that? Because that is the first part of healing. Because in order for you not to continue the same mistakes you've been and the mistakes you've done, you don't have to grow and evolve as people. And you got to say to yourself, you know what? I might be going through this, but I'm either going to sit here and be like, woe is me. I'm going to fight. Or I'm going to let God help me fight through it. Because there's an easier way to do things where I don't have to continuously fight and continue hurting myself. There's easier ways to deal with it. There's easier ways to skin a cat. Point blank period. There are easy ways to do that. I don't need to go through all this nonsense, bumping my head, trying to convince negative people, being negative and arguing with all these people. It ain't worth that. And I just ain't doing it no more. Because I'm not. I have a nice little Holy Bible here. So anytime I need answers, go right here. I have my prayer book. For any time that I'm going through something. I wish I had something here for pain, but I ain't got nothing for pain. But I got a nice little prayer book. I got my daily that I need to start reading more but more often. Then I have this here. So I have books that I got that's going to help me through my journey, help me through my pain and suffering, and get me through it. But sometimes we don't always have the answers. Sometimes we got to trust our instincts and trust our guts. But healing and recovery is not nowhere near what y'all think it is. It is really about healing and doing the best you can with what you got to work with. July, I got to take trash down the trash can. And guess what I got to do? Walk upstairs. Today, it was so bad, I felt like I couldn't even, I just wanted to go back to bed. Now I feel a lot better. But I'm not saying this testimony for the reasons you think. But that's how I ended up in my healing recovery phase. I asked God to help me through my healing recovery. I couldn't afford a counselor. I couldn't afford a coach at the time. I went to God with it. And I told God I'm so tired of suffering. And now I'm in the last stages of it. And yes, I have my ups and downs. I sure do. But I realized that I have to stop doing certain things and breaking habits. And that's why today I've been watching a lot of stuff, because next month is going to be applying. I'm applying this stuff now. But like I said, there are times I'm just like, I just don't feel like doing that because my body's just like, I don't want to do it. But my mind is like, we have to do it because it's going to be healthy. So now I got to convince my mind why I should do it. So I'm just telling you, these journeys are not easy. The journey of healing recovery is not just things getting better. No, you got to maintain that healing and recovery. You got to maintain that success. You got to maintain, going through what you went through. So it's not just about overcoming it. It's about maintaining it so you won't keep going through it over and over and over and over and over again. That's the only way. There's no other way around that. None. So I just wanted to come on here, tell my story, post this on my podcast. But yeah, I got 3 more I got to do, by the way. So I'm about to go take some trash out. I got some stuff I got to take downstairs to the car while I have the energy to do it. Because tomorrow I'm going to be washing clothes and getting that stuff done. But I just wanted to come on here right quick, tell y'all if you want one-on-one coaching, or you want me to be a guest on my podcast, or if you have any things you would like for me to, as far as promote or want to sponsor my channel, then please come and email me at asha.mariama01@gmail.com. That's asha.mariama01@gmail.com. Because God's version of healing ain't the same as a counselor's. It ain't the same as a doctor. Oh no, it's a whole lot more complicated than that. So I'm about to go do some juicing, and I got some stuff I gotta juice. So I got a melon I gotta cut up tomorrow. Well, probably tonight. No, tomorrow I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut up and juice tomorrow. Put it in the refrigerator and drink it. So I gotta cut my pineapple. Gotta cut my melon, and then I gotta cut and juice the melon and the pineapple, and then I'm gonna do a carrot juice. Well, the carrot juice might wait till I get back, but yeah, take care of yourself. You are a priority. And the one thing about healing and recovery spiritually, it ain't the same as mental. It ain't the same, because healing and recovery spiritually is the first step. Once you heal spiritually, everything else will fall into place. Because once you heal spiritually and you realize the damage you've done to your mind, your body, your spirit, and everything else, oh, you ain't going back to that nonsense no more. Trust me. Because once you start healing mentally and psychologically next, and then emotionally, and then healing internally and externally, and then your finances, and then your family issues and your relationships, oh, trust me, you will not be the same person. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of non-negotiables that you are not going to do, that you will not put up with. When I tell you, you're going to be somebody who's going to have so many non-negotiables, and these non-negotiables are just that, non-negotiable. So I just wanted to come on here and just say that to y'all. Like I said, these journeys are not easy. Healing recovery is not easy. If it was, we'd all be doing it. But the healing recovery that y'all think is healing recovery, it ain't. It's just like a temporary band-aid that you put on your arm, and you don't put no ointment, nothing on it, and that infection just spreads. It's just like going to the doctor's office and they tell you got a cyst and they're telling you they're not going to remove it. It's just like you find out that you got stage 4 cancer, but was never tested to find out whether you had it or not. It's about like that. So, like I said, the healing and recovery journey is so many different ways, of going about it. It ain't what you think. And not only that, it's not just about healing and recovery, it's about maintaining that healing and recovery. That is going to be the hard part, being able to maintain it. Can you maintain your healing and recovery? Can you maintain your success? Can you maintain everything that you now have worked for? Can you maintain all of that? That's the part that a lot of people ain't talking about. Everybody just giving you temporary fixes. And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, we